guys, welcome back. Today I want to record a Q&A because I haven't done one before besides Instagram stories. So I asked you guys on my stories what you would like to ask me, and then I compiled a bunch of questions. The first question is, what is your actual name? I like to go by Jeannie. It's also written in my Instagram bio. I've been going by that since middle school. It's kind of like a nickname I gave myself. How old are you? I am actually 18 years old. Just kidding. I'm 25 years old. I wish I was still 18. Actually, I think 21 is like the perfect age. I hate getting older. Where are you from? I was actually born in Wisconsin, of all places. What part of India are you from? My parents are originally from India. My mom is from Bangalore and my dad is from Mysore. Have you been to India? I have been to India a few times and definitely due for another visit. I definitely want to see different parts of India next time though, because I've only really been to the southern part of India. I want to see more of like the capital and like northern India. Are you in New York now? So I'm actually not living in New York. I know I have it in my Instagram bio. The reason I have it in my bio is because I can definitely commute to New York, especially for paid collaboration or a photo shoot, for example. And I don't know, I just want to give off like New York girl vibes, you know? And since I'm moving there very soon, I mean, I might as well have it in my bio right now, but no, not right now. I'm in North Carolina. The next question is, what do you do for a living? A lot of people don't know this, but I actually have a full-time job. So I actually do marketing at a publishing company. How did you become a model? I started taking a lot of photos with photographers, just freelance, TFP, trade for print. When I was in high school, I would even ask my friends to take photos of me and I would take my own pictures. But I definitely worked with a few select photographers I liked, and I would shoot with them as much as possible to get a wide variety of photographs and to just build up my portfolio. Fast forward many years later, I got reached out to by my current agency, Muse, and they wanted to represent me for social media work. So I started working with them, and then they told me that they were going to open a modeling section of their agency, and I told them I was very much interested in that. And from there, I started being represented as both a content creator and a model. The next question is kind of deep. What do you think love is? So I feel like love is supporting one another, bringing out the best version of each other in each other. I don't know. Is that a good answer? Do you think pretty privilege is real, and what are the dark sides of being considered pretty? I think pretty privilege is real. There's studies that have been done about this. The dark sides of being considered pretty, there's a lot of creeps out there that will harass you, stalk you, people who won't take you seriously, people who will be intimidated by you, people who will try to put you down. What is your biggest pet peeve? I feel like I hate waiting on people. And this is like low-key hypocritical, but like if I'm a few minutes late, but then my friend is even later, I'll like still get irritated sometimes. I'm kind of an impatient person. It's the Aries thing. What is your cat's name? My cat's name is Deja. She's staying with my parents right now. I think she's about 12 years old now, which is crazy. How did you find your style? I think I'm actually gonna make a video on this because I've had some questions about this. I've had a lot of different influences. A lot of it has been budget constraints. So back then I didn't really have much money, so I would thrift a lot, and that had a huge influence on my style. It was much more colorful, and I would wear like patterns and more like vintage retro styles. But then once I started making more money and I started exposing myself more to other content creators, social media, fashion history, going to fashion week, going to different fashion events, I feel like my style has definitely matured and become more sophisticated. What's your style called? I would say I have a mix of kind of like 3 styles right now. The first one is definitely Office Siren. You guys know I love the Office Siren aesthetic. I made a whole video about it. The next one is Minimal Chic. Definitely love a muted color palette and simple silhouettes. And then the last one, I'm gonna say it's a secret because I'm working on making a video about this aesthetic. I haven't really seen a lot of people in the fashion industry discuss it, so I want to be one of the first people to really put a name to this aesthetic. What's your style inspiration? I get inspired from so many different places. Right now, I get heavily inspired from Pinterest. I make a board for every season and I add stuff that I see on my feed that I really like. I follow a lot of content creators that really inspire me and brands that really inspire me on Instagram. I even turn on story notifications for some brands because I just really love their collections and their vibe. I think I also get inspired by textures and colors and lines and shapes and things that are visually stimulating or even texturally interesting. Where do you get your clothes? So there's a few places I like to shop. Number one is definitely secondhand, Poshmark, ThredUp, Depop, and eBay. And then I usually look for brands that I really love, like Paloma Wool, Belle the Label, Sabi the Label, Gil, Tank Air, Meow, Lioness. There's a whole bunch. I also really like Motel and Revolve. Where's the most affordable place you usually go for shopping? Definitely secondhand. I always try to scour for designer at secondhand prices. Usually you'll get really good prices when things are used. You definitely can't beat physical thrift stores, even though even they're raising their prices lately. But hands down the most cheap would be those thrift stores where you go and just dig through clothes and shoes. Those are the cheapest because you pay per pound. Do you like thrifting? If you know me and if you've been following me for a long time, you know that I love thrifting. I just think it's such an amazing way to provide fashion to people at a more accessible price. And I think it's just such a good way to recycle pieces in your closet so that you're never hoarding items. What kind of pieces would you make if you were a designer? So this is an interesting question. I took a few fashion courses when I was in college, and there was one where I was one-on-one with the teacher, and the whole point of the course was to create a concept of a brand and create illustrations for it, come up with a style guide and mood board inspiring the first collection. I don't know, maybe it's something I could do in the future. What's your favorite brand? My favorite brand at the moment is probably Paloma Wool. I really love their most recent collections. They're just so visually pleasing. I love how they take inspiration from random places like nature and fabrics and shapes and textures. I think I'm just so obsessed with everything they create nowadays. What is your favorite place? I will say my favorite place is behind the camera. I feel happiest when I'm taking photos or creating content. Other than that though, my bed for sure. I love to lay in bed. What's your favorite movie/show? My favorite movie is actually Shrek. I'm a fan of Shrek Forever After. It's just so good. My favorite show, I don't think I really have a favorite show, but my favorite genre of television is definitely reality TV, especially like romance, like 90 Day Fiance, The Ultimatum, Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle. You name it, I've probably seen it. What are some favorite photos I've taken recently? These are my favorite photos. I feel like my favorite photos are always changing, and they're usually the most recent photos I've taken because I feel like as time goes by, the better I get at taking better photos. What's your favorite animal? My favorite animal is cats. I'm always watching cats on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels. Is black your favorite color? I think I had like a 2-week phase where I was like, yeah, black's my favorite color. Now I would say silver is my favorite color, hands down. The moon is silver. I like silver. What's your diet? I just eat whenever I'm hungry, really. I've been trying to eat healthier lately, so I've been cooking a lot at home. I've pretty much tried to stop eating any snacks or like junk food. What's your skincare you will always rebuy? I'm a huge fan of Curology. I started using it several years ago. I used to get acne all the time and I would try so many different things, but nothing really worked until I started using Curology, so I'm a diehard Curology fan. And then I also like to buy Korean skincare, and right now I'm getting into Japanese skincare. I'm interested to see how it'll go. And of course, I will always buy sunscreen. Sunscreen is so important. How do you edit your pictures? I like to use a digital camera for my photos, so I don't have to do too much editing. Sometimes I can just post them as is, but when I do edit, I like to take out any warm tones in my photos. I'm a total cool tone girly. How do you film your reels? Whenever I have someone with me, I'll try to ask them to help me record videos. I think those look the best is when you have somebody to help you. But when I don't have somebody to help me, I just use a tripod. Sometimes if I want to emulate the feeling of somebody recording me, I use my Pivo, which basically has this AI tracking software, and it looks like somebody's holding the camera, which is cool. What camera do you use to take pictures? So I get this question quite a lot. So I have 3 cameras I like to use. For quite a while, I was using the Canon PowerShot SD880. Up until like 2 months ago, I was using that camera, and I was using the Canon G7X here and there for my sharper digital photos, and then now I'm using the Canon PowerShot A1000, and I really like it. If I'm not using digital camera, I'll just use my phone camera, and I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max. Who takes your pictures? I take a lot of my own photos. A lot of times I'll just set up a tripod, or I'll ask a friend if I have a friend with me, or my boyfriend. What happened to your hammy era? This one's funny. If you've been following me since high school, you might remember that I used to be absolutely obsessed with hamsters. Like, I made it my personality, high-key. I don't know, I just kind of phased out of it. I like cats now. But I don't, like, post about it all the time or anything. Like, I feel like that was pretty cringy of me back then. What's your Pinterest? So this is my Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I use it all the time. I upload a lot of my own photos and videos on there. I also love seeing when other people upload my content. That makes me happy. What are your favorite hobbies? My favorite hobby is definitely shopping. Online shopping, and also just window shopping, because I look at stuff all the time and I just can't afford it. So I just put it on like my wish list. I love reality TV. I love traveling and trying new foods. And I also love listening to music. What's your workout routine? I'm very inconsistent with working out. I really only work out if I have a specific goal in mind. But right now, I walk on the treadmill like 3 to 4 times a week for 30 minutes, 3 speed at 12 incline, which I think is supposed to be a really popular workout. If animals could talk, which one would you prefer talking to? Since my favorite animal is cats, I would probably say cats. If not cats, then birds, because birds are just everywhere. Are you a bookworm? No, not really. I don't have the attention span to read books. I used to love reading. I used to be really good at it. I wish I was still good at it, but I just feel like it's hard for me to find a book that I like. Who are your top music artists? My favorite singer is Doja Cat. I was actually in her top 10% of listeners in Spotify last year, and I'll tell that to anyone who wants to hear. But in general, I don't really have favorite singers. It's more like I like specific songs. Who is your inspiration? This is actually a hard one. Really, any person of color that talks about their adversities getting into entertainment and acting, modeling, I think is such a big inspiration to me. How do you decide where to travel and what to visit in the country? I don't usually just travel willy-nilly. If I do, it's usually within my state to like the beach or a waterfall or a farm. But if I go out of state or out of the country, it's usually for work or for a specific event. I like to make plans in advance of going to the country, like where I want to visit. A lot of times I bookmark thrift stores, cafes, restaurants. I want to be an influencer but don't know where to start. Do you have any advice? If you want to be an influencer, I think you need to recognize what you're passionate about and think about what's your unique perspective that you can bring to it. Just make as much content as possible as you can around it. Don't get discouraged. Keep going no matter how hard it is some days. And I wish you the best of luck. So that's all the questions I have from you guys. Thank you guys for all of the questions. It was nice to finally share things that maybe a lot of you didn't know. Also, what do you guys think about this cute little MacBook template setup? I thought it was cute, so I thought I would try it for this video. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about everything I talked about. I'll see you again very soon.